Hey guys, John here and welcome to my channel Outlaw Geek, where I talk about tech and creative stuff, usually around the subjects of design and digital marketing. On this video, I'm going to show you a time-lapse walkthrough of around 5 times the normal speed of a white label project that I'm currently working on for a digital marketing agency from Canada. So thank you to my client from Canada for allowing me to document my process of building out this website for this client so that you guys can have a better idea of how we build a website using WordPress, Divi page builder, Canva, Photoshop, and of course plugins such as WP Grid, Forminator Pro. I think that's it.
Outlaw Geek! Create, grind, and unwind. Hit that record button.
So this project is for a local business from Ontario that offers printing services to other businesses who wants their brand to be printed on promotional products such as t-shirts, caps. On that subject, shout out to my sister Aika for giving me this cap, this new era Chicago Bulls cap, and our friend Flora for this Fat Lip Surf t-shirt from Siargao Island. Shout out to all the people in Siargao Island, especially to my good friend Jonathan Neri, aka Pastor Jack. So hopefully on this video, I'm going to try and narrate the process as best that I could, because the entire homepage was built at around 5 hours, but I'm going to compress it and make it faster for you guys to not waste your time, and hopefully you'll go through the entire thing. This is an hour of me showing you how I built this homepage, and this is going to be a video series where I build the website from beginning to launch, and I'm going to show you the entire process of it. So let's do it. The current iteration of the homepage that I'm showing you on the time lapse, I did a little bit of edits on the hero section because the client requested that when they saw the homepage. I added their logo on the t-shirt, just to help out, really help out in providing them pictures, because they really didn't have high quality pictures as of the moment. So most of businesses that are on the startup phase in their digital marketing campaigns do not have the right creative assets that we can use on a website. So rather than trying to wait for them to provide one, as someone who has graphic design skills and I've been doing this for, more than a decade. So I usually just try to be more proactive and provide more value to them. This is the current iteration of the website. I also added this nice carousel for the products, where I used WooCommerce and WP Grid to set up this carousel. On the time-lapse video, I did not include that yet because I wanted to compress the video just right on the 1 hour time cutoff. Here's the category section. I also added this section because the client also wanted to offer a side service where his customers could get their own mini e-commerce website right on the Rise Above promo website. But it's not really a mini website. What we'll do is we'll just put their products of these customers within a category and just show that on a page. That's the simplest thing that we can do for them, rather than building, their own mini e-commerce website right on their domain, just like how Shopify does for, a lot of businesses. So that's a simple enough solution that we will provide to them. This was added after I showed the first iteration of the homepage. On the time-lapse video, because I added this on a later stage when the client asked for a revision on the homepage. When I sent them the first round of the homepage version, right on the browser, of course, on our development staging environment that we provided for them. But I think this will be included on a later episode where I will go back to the homepage and do this edits and show that the process to you. This is the testimonial slider. This is the frequently asked questions. Of course, the call to action box and the footer. So let's go back to our time lapse. So this is Rise Above Promo. This is the name of the website. This is the current website that has no design yet. So I asked ChatGPT to help me out and give me an overview of their business model. And this is what they gave me. And I read it and understood what the business model was, what they were trying to sell, what they're about, who are they serving. And then I asked ChatGPT to generate a homepage landing a copy for the landing page, and then I uploaded Divi theme on WordPress and activated it. Now we need a Divi child theme. So basically, child themes are important so that when the parent theme will have an update, all your customizations like CSS, stylings will not be deleted. So here we are. We have a blank Divi theme on their website. Now let's try and change, the settings, the general settings, the reading, the permalink structures. Save that and then go to appearance and theme customizer. Let's start with the site identity by, creating a fav icon of 512 pixels by 512 pixels, which is the recommended size of Divi. Now let's go to Adobe Color and try to find a color palette that would be similar to what we're looking for and then adjust from there. Now let's try and adjust the typography and of course the colors of the fonts, all the links. And now we try to adjust the header settings. And then we go to Divi theme options and copy all the colors that we might use. So basically the client wanted blacks, grays, whites, and of course orange as their main color. So here I'm just trying to resize the logo and make sure that it's the right size for our header. Now I'm asking ChatGPT to write me 3 examples of engaging value proposition headline for the H1 of the home landing page with the subheadline. And of course, it needs to explain what the business offers, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm going to copy that and, try to decide which one really fits. And then we're just adjusting the font size and the typography on the theme customizer as we go. And adding the sub headline there, and of course 2 call to action buttons where they can view all the products that they're selling, because this is going to be an e-commerce website. Now we're trying to adjust the we're trying to adjust the button stylings while I'm listening to Prince When Doves Cry. And then I'm just trying to style those buttons, adding the get a quote button, and now adding the CSS and making sure that the buttons are 100% width, right? Now I'm adding the logo because the client wanted the main hero section of the homepage to have a logo or have their logo in it. So I'm trying to adjust the hero section here, trying to design the hero section of the main landing page or the home page. Now I'm using Canva to create a background for the hero section, and the client wanted me to use mountains from Canada, and this is what I got from Canva. Now I'm trying to add people in it, to show who our target market are and what products we are trying to sell. So basically they are a printing business that offers to print promotional products for other businesses. So that's why we are, adding people on our hero section to form some sort of connection with our audience, right? And then I'm trying to style all the typography on the hero section, adding some padding from the top and bottom, because what I plan is the header will not show right when you land on the page, but when you scroll, the header will scroll. The when you scroll, the header will show. Now I'm trying to adjust the background of the hero section, make sure that the people in it are not being covered by the text, or their faces are relatively showable, and no, their faces are relatively shown on the picture on the background. I'm trying to add some text shadow on the font, redoing the logo to make it a white logo instead of the black logo, right? Now I'm uploading that, trying to reset all the filters that I just did, trying to figure out what I need to do. Now I decided to just show the mountains or the icon, because it's going to be very redundant if you show both the icon and the logo type on the hero section, because when you scroll down, as I said, the header will show, and that's where our main logo is going to be at, and that will be our main logo. So on the hero section, we're just showing them the mountain icon from their logo. Now I'm trying to adjust the size of, or the file size of the hero section, to make sure that it doesn't really go beyond 100 kilobytes, and then adjusting now the stylings of the buttons on the theme customizer, and then fine-tuning this button here to make it look like a ghost button, so that there will be a difference in the style of the buttons that are right beside each other. Now I'm just trying to adjust and fine-tune the copy and the padding. There you go. Re-uploading the logo again. Make sure that it's white. And now I'm trying to adjust the fixed navigation, so that when you scroll down on the inner pages, of course, we'll have the default header stylings on Divi, instead of what we're gonna do, which is some sort of a custom header for our main page or the home page. Now we're just adding the main navigation on the Divi dashboard, adding a CSS class on the main call to action on the header navigation. Okay, now that appears on the website. Now we're trying to purge, of course, the cache also, because we have two cache settings, right on WordPress and one on the server. So I'm trying to clear the cache to make sure that the changes I do are reflecting on the front end of the website. Now I'm trying to find a good Divi layout for the header, the custom header that I'm trying to do. There's no sense of building this from scratch, although you'll have more fine control if you did that from scratch. So I just edited that custom header. I'm editing the custom header to make it look like the way I want to. So this is what I said about the header not showing when you land on the page initially, but when you scroll down, it's gonna show. Now we can do that on the Divi setting itself, but the problem is it will reflect the entire website. Now I just want that effect to be on the home page, because all the other pages won't have this hero section there. So I'm adding highlight as a class for the request a quote button. So I'm just doing some fine tuning on the styles of the navigation, using CSS to target that main call to action with the highlight class, to make it look like a button instead of one of just a simple navigation link. and I'm trying to figure out why the CSS is not working. Sometimes you really need to take a look clearly what's happening with the CSS, because it might just be a case of not naming that element the right class, right? Now I'm just adjusting the spacing of the menu and then adding the logo as an image instead of one of the settings on the menu module of Divi. Now I'm just adjusting the paddings of the items, trying to figure out why the fuck this other items are not aligning with the button. So I go there, go back and forth. That's one of the jobs of a WordPress developer or website developers, to make sure that everything looks good, and because I have a background in design, I can look at things and I recognize those problems right away. So I try to adjust the CSS, make sure that the items are of the same space as each other, right? So CSS is really a basic styling you know technique, or CSS is very important. It's a very important skill for a web developer. So I would suggest you would know the basics of that skill, or that coding, whatever it is called, cascading style sheets. So now I'm trying to ask ChatGPT to help me rewrite the main headline for the hero sections, because I wanted it to be something that incorporates what they do for their customers. So here I am trying to add an H2 for the subheadline instead of just a paragraph, and then trying to adjust the size of the fonts, making sure that their main slogan, or their main uh, brand message of elevate your brand, it's the biggest thing on the hero section, so that it captures their attention. And then of course the sub headline or the slogan you know would be the next one they can read. Now I'm adding the second section here, just trying to build a grid that would show the categories of the products that they are offering, or the products that they could print on for their customers, like t-shirts. Now I'm using Canva to create thumbnails for each of those products, each of those product categories, and trying to make sure that there are people on those thumbnails, so that it's relatable. But it doesn't have to be the same for all those categories. It doesn't have to have people each and every time. Just some diversity on the design would really help with the user experience, right? Now I'm just trying to adjust those blurb module. Well, it's not a blurb module. I'm just trying to adjust the columns for each of those category, each of those boxes, fine-tuning it on Divi, adding some padding and some hover states. I'm turning off the lightbox option. I'm just trying to figure out if I would use the icon module, or just I think I'm just gonna use the native overlay feature of the image module on Divi, instead of adding that separate icon module. It's much easier. I'm just adjusting the overlays and the hover states of that module, right? And now trying to adjust the icon, adding some custom CSS to fine tune and make sure that it works, the hover state would work the way I want it to. So I'm just trying to figure out what CSS to ad. So when people hover over the category title itself, the image will also change status into the hover, you know. So basically, the background of that image will change and highlight it will highlight the people or the product that are on the thumbnails when you hover over the title. And when you hover over the image itself, it's also gonna do that, you know. And I think I'm going to set it up where if you hover over the title or the image, the background or the black bar there will change into orange. So now I'm just adding the other thumbnails, creating all the other thumbnails on Canva. So it's very easy to do this on Canva. I'm a Photoshop guy myself because I've been, using Photoshop the same time as I've been using WordPress. Uh, but I really like Canva because it's very easier for you to take off those backgrounds, you know. Back where we only have Photoshop, we need to use, the pen tool, and that's, really takes so much time, so much more time than the one click on Canva. So I'm just doing that for all of those thumbnails, right? There you go. I should have done this and made this into a, you know, faster time lapse. Now I'm just adding the ones for the hoodies and the jackets, trying to figure out which thumbnail I'm going to use. Of course, clients need to, provide photos themselves. But in this case, I wanted to help out and bring more value to the project. This is, like I said, this is a white label project, and I always want those types of project to be really good because I am helping out with other digital marketing agencies or web design agencies projects, and it's their name that we are bringing on the table, or it's their name that we are trying to represent with our work as a white label WordPress developer or a white label web designer. And the better that project comes out, the more project they are going to send your way. And to be honest, agencies in the US pay more than what local businesses pay here. It really depends, of course, on the type of business or industry that is looking for your service and needing a website. But I would say that I'm gonna give you some perspective. So in the U.S., even carpentry, plumbing, aircon cleaning businesses, the type of businesses that here in the Philippines doesn't really make really big money. So they're not, trying to invest more in digital marketing. But there in the US, it's basically normal for all those service-based business, home service, grass cutting, painting, any of those small businesses, they use digital marketing. They have a website because they know it's the only way for them to level the playing field against all those large corporations that offer the same thing, their competitors. And yeah, the first business that has a certain type of service that they are offering, a specialization of a certain service. The first business that leverages a website and digital marketing and paid ads, and social media marketing and organic content publishing. The first business that does that will have the edge, or will have, have an advantage over the other people or the other businesses that are offering the same service as you are. Now, here I'm trying to just add an about section and trying to, fine tune the typography or the font style of the headlines to somehow, reflect or be of similar style as their logo. This will add, to, of course, to the branding elements or or trying to make sure that the website is on brand and the design reflects their brand identity. Now just trying to decide if I should add their icon as a background here on the about section, and then I went back to the section below the hero section because I kind of realized that I needed to display their main service first before I display the categories of the products that they can print on. So their main service is embroidery, silk screen printing, and other promotional printing for a diverse set of products like mugs, you know, stickers, all those promotional products that you would want your brand on, so that it will, give some sort of marketing, or you'll have marketing materials, that you can either sell or, give as freebies, or, yeah, freebies. Now I'm just trying to scroll down, trying to, have a feel of what the website is looking like as of the moment. So I decided here that when you hover on each of these boxes, you will see a change on that black bar into an orange. So there you go. Sometimes as a WordPress developer that has a, you know, background in graphic design, or, is mainly a web designer and not really a coder, I think the most important thing, or the most important characteristic that you would need is, you should be able to put yourself in the shoes of the users of the website, because you will need to, at least make sure that the user experience, or, the visitors will know how to use your website. It should look very familiar. It should resonate with them, and, website should somehow what's the word I'm looking for here. So right now I'm just setting the second section, trying to make it stand out a bit by adding some subtle drop shadows. So when using, drop shadows, text shadows, and even, should I say, what's the word, outer glows on sections or modules or columns or whatever, it should always be subtle, just to show some contrast and some depth in the design, and not overdo it. Because on the web, the I think one of the differences on the web and graphic is that, on graphic you could really go really hard on drop shadows, and because you want people to really focus on a certain part of the design, while on a website it should really be well balanced. Should be clean and balanced, and just the drop shadow should just be there to add some sort of contrast and depth on the design. So right now I'm doing the silk screen printing box there, just adjusting the thumbnail to make it a little bit thinner or shorter, right? There you go. Yeah. So yeah, one of the what I was saying was that one of the main characteristics of a WordPress developer or web developer or a web designer or front end design, whatever you want to call your job, is to be able to anticipate what the users of that platform should do, or what they're going to do, or what are the next steps that they're gonna take, or what call to actions are you trying to make them do, so that it's not a website is not just to show the services and the products and to I mean, that's one of the reasons why you want to have a website, is to show your portfolio as a business. But the main goal of a website is to direct those visitors, so to direct those visitors and turn them into a loyal audience, and do some sort of action on your website, whether it's to read an article, it's to fill up a form, to ask for a quote. So yeah, that's the one of the most important thing as a web designer, or a UX UI designer, is to be able to anticipate the steps that the users are gonna take, so that they will be converted into a paying customer. And you can also track that with the help of digital marketing. So it's a two-way street. I used to just design websites just for the heck of trying to design a good-looking website, but in the last maybe 3-4 years, I've realized that the main purpose of a website is not just to make a company look good on the web or on the internet, to build their online presence and build their brand. It's ultimately it's the your salesman. It should drive more sales and more attention to your brand. So I'm just fine tuning all of the sections that we have right now on the homepage. Right, I'm adding all those styles. So I'm checking out all the interactions, the hover states. Now I'm trying to find a promotional product thumbnail, which is really hard on Canva, but I decided to just use different images and then build a thumbnail from those images, because it's promotional products is basically a general or multiple type of category, right? So I'm adding cups, t-shirts, pens. I'm trying to just make sure that the thumbnail reflects the title of that service, which is promotional product printing, right? So that's where your graphic design skills will come in handy. Every time a project turns out that the client or the business that's needing your help in building their website doesn't have all these creative assets ready, like the copy, the photos, the videos. This is where your creative skills would come in handy. So that you won't need to really wait for the client to provide those, and at the same time you show them the value that you're putting on the table, right? So that's what I do. Basically, I don't just build websites, pretty websites. I make sure that the copy is well written. It drives to the main goal of trying to sell the product or the service. So everything on the website needs to be in sync with that one goal, that one goal, whether it's to generate leads, to sell your service, to sell a product, everything on the website must adhere to that one goal, whether it's the design, it's the hover states, or how the copy is written. Yeah, while you are able to reflect what the brand message is. So now I'm trying to add another section, which is the client testimonial section. And I'm using the slider module on Divi to build that, because natively Divi doesn't have a really good testimonial slider. But you can use other third-party plugins, but I'd rather use the native Divi slider for this type of section. And testimonials, client testimonials are really good to really show the satisfaction of your past and current customers in terms of the services that you render. And yeah, I think that's one of the most important parts of digital marketing, is social proof of the services or the products or the satisfaction of the customers. And here I'm just building the 5-star graphic. Yeah, so aside from putting a customer testimonial slider on your homepage, you can also link that slider, maybe add a button there that will say more Google reviews, and that will link to your Google business profile with all the reviews, because Google, in terms of these reviews from existing customers, they're more valid. And the fact that your website has a Google business profile linked to it, and you have verified through the system of Google, their verification system, that you do own that business, and those customers are real customers that have bought your service or your product, and that will be really help your website to rank higher on certain keywords, or your service keywords, or your local area as a business by doing that. So your website should always link to your Google business profile, and your Google business profile should have at least, I would say, at least 10 reviews, because that will really help Google decide that you are a top service provider for that service, that specific service or product that you are offering, and you have legit clients that buy your service. So now we're done with the slider. I'm just trying to make sure that the photo is also round by adding CSS. There you go. Of course, trying to adjust the text or the font size of the client name and the company name. You should always be mindful with your typography, because as simple as how typography sounds like, it has its intricacies, and you need to make sure that the headlines look the same. The typography has unity in them, whether it's the paragraph font styling, whether it's the heading stylings, or the spacing and the line height, even the font weight of the type. It's very, very important. Now we're just adding the frequently asked questions. So usually frequently asked questions, or FAQs, are designed by using either a toggle, right, or an accordion. So in this case, I'm using a toggle and just going through all the settings, trying to make sure that the typography and the font sizes are right, just right. There you go. Right, trying to adjust the letter spacing, of course, the background of the toggle and the border, right, of course, the icon. So when you click on that close toggle, when it opens, it changes the icon, right? There you go. Changing the type of the icon, the size of the icon, and the color of the icon. So I'm just gonna copy all the questions and answers and add that to our new homepage. Right, so one of the things that I do when I come to a section that I know has multiple elements in them that are similar or the same of design, I build the first element and make sure that the design is right, and then just duplicate that. Right, it makes the process easier rather than going through each of them and changing the design. Although you can do that on Divi, but I think in this way it's much faster. Right, here's the website now. Trying to fine tune things like the spacing. Right, we're almost there. I think we're going to do the global footer. Right, so the first thing that I would add on the footer is a call to action box. The reason here is that once the user or the visitor scrolls down right before the footer, you need to add a call to action to remind them what they should do or what's the next step that they can do, because they're already convinced that you do the service that they need, and you're an expert in it. So a call to action box will do that, whether it's to show the products that they are selling or ask for a quote for a custom service that they are offering, right? So I'm just adjusting the subheadline here to make it look better. Having different font weights on a text or a copy within a section like this one provides a difference in the design, and it makes sure that your headline has the focus, and then when people read the other stuff, like the paragraph and the subheadline, it's easy for them to remember that your main headline's value proposition is right in their thoughts, and of course it's easier to read the rest of the copy, right? And it's easier to understand the rest of the copy because the main headline already got their focus, and they can remember it right away. Now I'm just adding some custom CSS to make sure that that button lines up with the text. So because I'm planning to put this on almost all of the pages except for, of course, the request a quote page, because that's going to be redundant. I'm adding the call to action section within the global footer. Okay. Now I'm just trying to adjust the background so that the transition from the last section and the call to action is a lot smoother, with the same background. So I'm just gonna adjust the spacing there a bit, make that request a button bold so that it will stand out. Now I'm just scrolling up and down trying to figure out which things to improve on. Those small details like the spacings, the padding, those really make a difference in the transitions and the flow of the design of the website, and it makes it easier for the users to read all that's important to be read by them, or to figure out what steps to do next, and what section this is, and what products they're offering, what services they're offering, who are they, and what they can do for them. Can they solve this problem that I am currently trying to find a solution for? So now I'm just working on the footer of the homepage, basically the global footer of the website, trying to edit some parts of the copy, and adding, of course, their contact details, like the phone number. It should be clickable. Phone number should be clickable, whether on desktop or you're viewing the website on your mobile phone. So when you click on phone numbers, it needs to automatically dial that phone number. The ultimate, like one of the most important things that you can do for your visitors and your audience is to make your website easy to use. If your website is easy to use and 6-year-olds can use it, then you're all good. But if it's too complicated, then you must have a website that's has a bad user experience and it has a bad design, and you don't want that. Now I'm just adding their address, making sure that the icons I use are look good. Icons are very important to somehow establish a visual component right beside that element that is trying to serve a purpose, like a phone number, a list, an email. So icons are very important to give some sort of visualization of the copy that's next to them. So now we're almost done. We're at the third section of the footer, which is a footer menu. So by default, Divi has its own stylings for the modules that it has. So you would have to adjust them accordingly by either on the module options or through CSS. But you need to always you need to always use the module options first. But if you need to do some customizations that are not native to the options of Divi, whether it's the design or the functionality, then you need to do some custom CSS. So right here's the footer navigation. I already created a footer menu, and I'm trying to add an ID because I'm going to use CSS to make the items right on top of each other, because it's a footer menu, and usually footer menus has that layout, instead of the items going right beside each other. Right now I'm just adjusting the logo width and trying to figure out if this looks good by scrolling up and down. That's one of the things that you need to do. You need to look at the micro view of a website and the macro view. So fine tuning, fine details, detail orientation, very important. Right now I'm just trying to figure out what else to put on the footer of the website. Right? So I'm done with the third section on the website. I am trying to add a better, just to have some uniformity and unity in the heading styles, of course. Now I'm trying to, like I said, there you go. Right? Adding the links to all those phone numbers and email blurbs. There you go. Looks good. Make sure that the phone number is in bold to stand out a bit from the rest of those elements on that section of or that column of the footer, right? Now I'm trying to add a placeholder article on the blog feature of WordPress. Now I'm asking ChatGPT to write a short article that I can use and show a blog list on the last column of the footer, right? Because since we don't have a blog section on the main content of the page, usually I put the blog list on the last section or the last column of the footer. Now I'm adding the blog module, just, changing the typography to make sure that the size, the colors, the styles are also the same and accurate and precise as the rest of the footer and the rest of the website, right? There you go. I'm adding some headlines on each of the column of the footer, trying to adjust the blog articles or the blog lists styles, like the heading of the blog articles and the date and the paragraph or the excerpt. There you go. Now I'm trying to adjust the column of the the third column where the footer menu is located. Adjust the width because there's too much spacing in between the blog list and the footer menu. Alright, now I'm trying to place the excerpt on the excerpt box within the blog post. Right, there you go. Adjusting the margin, adding the headline for that column there. There you go. It looks really good, right? Adjusting the font size. There you go. It looks really good now. We're getting there. Now I'm just checking on mobile, adding some media queries. So media queries are make certain CSS declarations specific when you view the website on a certain size of a device or a certain size of a browser, right? So now I'm checking on an iPad Pro view using Chrome because I don't have a tablet. I'm probably the only web designer or the only WordPress developer that doesn't use a tablet and an iPhone to check on those views because, Chrome is pretty good, but I already know all the sizes or the what they call a viewport, viewport sizes of each of the size of the device. So basically, anything over 1024, that's for laptops and PCs, and below that would be the tablets, up until 769 pixels. So 768 pixels below, those would be the mobile views. Now I'm just trying to adjust the mobile navigation, make sure that it looks good on tablet view. Trying to figure out, why the logo and the hamburger menu is not sitting right beside each other. So I'm trying to fix that with CSS. Now we're trying to add colors on the hamburger navigation menu. They call that hamburger because of the three lines that represents the mobile nav or the mobile menu. Now I'm trying to add a custom ID for the home navigation, because like I said, it's gonna show a different navigation, or the home page has a custom header, while the rest of the inner pages are gonna use the Divi native header settings. I think this is like the only complicated part of building a website in WordPress using page builders such as Divi, is that if you want to do custom things. So in this case, because what I wanted for the home pages header was not native to Divi, I needed to use some CSS to make sure that everything looks okay. And I also needed to adjust, of course, the position. So one of the most important parts of CSS is to understand positioning, whether it's absolute, fixed, relative, or the default positioning. It's very important so that you can play around with the design of each of the section of the website. So in this case, I'm trying to fix the header, and now we're almost there. I'm just adding some padding from on the left and the right side, to have some spacing, right? And go viewing it on other devices, making sure that I didn't mess up the desktop view, right? There you go. So I think I messed that up, so I needed to readjust that, right? So we're just trying to figure out how the mobile navigation or the mobile header works, making sure that everything is clean, right? The design is clean. Now I'm just adding some CSS to fine-tune it, right? Fine-tune the spacing. There you go. Now I'm trying to find this article by PI Creative. Shout out to them for providing this CSS snippet that would make your mobile hamburger menu change it to an X when you click it, which adds to the user experience. So like I said, you don't really have to do custom CSS every time, because there are lots of resources on how to do things. You just have to learn where to find them, right? Now I'm just trying to figure out how to fix this, using Z-index to figure out and make sure that the navigation is, clickable on mobile. There you go. Save that. There you go. Right. So to be honest, I wanted the logo to be clickable on mobile as well, but it was really hard for me to solve that problem. So I decided to just leave it, because anyways, the home, there's still a home link when you open the mobile navigation, right? There you go. So now it works. I think I solved that. I'm gonna have to check again, but sometimes you forget things that you do. Now I'm just trying to fix the sizes of the menu items, making sure that they're all aligned perfectly and to the center, right? There you go. Yeah. Now we have to also make sure that the call to action or the highlight button or the request a quote button is also, have the stylings or the styles, and it looks like a button. Now I'm just adjusting the second section of the website on mobile, making sure that the size of the box is, fits the thumbnail, and it is all aligned perfectly on the center. Same with the third section, the category section. Adjusting the max width on tablet view and mobile view, right? There you go. And now I'm going to adjust the gradient to make sure it's a solid black background when you view it on a tablet or a mobile device. you know so yeah, sometimes you need to adjust the design to fit the device where the users are viewing your website from. So on desktop, you can be as fancy as you can because you have tons of real estate. So you have bigger space to play with the design. But when it comes to tablet and mobile, your space is limited. So you need to make it really clean and simple, and precise and consistent with the design. Consistency is very important in terms of design, whether it's web design, graphic design, because this is how your brand stands out and becomes very memorable because of your consistency in branding and in your design, right? Now I'm just adding specific media queries for tablet view and below, trying to make sure that the mobile version of the footer menu doesn't show, but instead it will keep the list type of item, because you don't want two mobile navs on your website. It just becomes very confusing. Okay, now I'm just adding some CSS to make sure that all the columns of the footer has a good spacing in them, between them, right? Looking good. So I haven't really added the sub footer yet. I decided to just go and fix the mobile views first, right? So changing, one of the things that you really need to do is change the font size of the headings and the sub headlines and the paragraph. Maybe not the paragraph. You can keep the paragraph and as big as it is on desktop in mobile, but all the other, the big text, the big fonts, like the headings, the headers, uh, you know slogans, you need to really resize those sizes so that it'll be you know readable on mobile and not go on multiple lines, and the client doesn't need to really scroll just to read one line of text. So now I'm just adjusting the logo and the alignment on the footer section, right? Looking good on mobile. There you go. Really nice. Just trying to make sure that the headlines have the same size on mobile, right? Adjusting it accordingly. Sometimes you need to go back and forth with fine tuning the font size. There you go. Checking on iPhone 14, iPhone 13, iPhone 12. I think iPhone 12 is probably the lowest version of iPhone that you must be able to design or optimize your website for mobile viewing. Now I'm finally adding the subfooter, where the attribution of the company or the digital marketing agency that hired me to build this website and allowed me to create this content for our channel here at Outlaw Geek. So yeah, I think one of the things that I want to do is really show how I build real projects and not just make believe projects like most coaches do. Um, I just don't roll that way. I want you to see that the things I do and the things that I want you to learn are applicable in real project situations. Sometimes you need to really be OCD. There you go. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you learned something from it. If you have friends who are business owners who want to have an idea how a website is built, then please share this video with them. And if you have friends who are VAs who want to upskill and learn and just to have an idea of how a real project is built on WordPress using Divi, using WP Grid, WooCommerce, Forminator Pro, just trying to understand how everything works and on a live website with a real project that I'm working on, because I just like the idea of showing you a real project that I'm working on, so that you'll understand that we're trying to build something that's going to be used in the real world, not just some make believe project with make believe businesses. And of course, if you have beginners or aspiring web designers or WordPress developers who wants to build websites for a living, then do share this video with them. Hope you found this video helpful. Websites are very important for businesses, especially in the digital marketing space. It is your central hub. You own that platform, and you make sure that that platform works for your users. And I really think that building websites is not that complicated as it sounds, especially when you're using WordPress and Divi page builder or whatever page builder you're using. You just need to master the platform that you're building the website on, and everything else is basically just digital marketing design. Making sure that your website has a purpose, or is aimed or directed towards a goal, and everything you do in digital marketing points to your website, or goes to your website, to make sure that the users or your audience will know your brand and know where to go. And of course, it's on your website where your customers or your audience will decide whether or not to give you the information that you need to build out your database of client lists or prospects, where you can contact them and perhaps nurture them and build a relationship with them and show them that you are an expert in your field, in your service, and your product is great. And of course, you have to also follow design and branding, so that your website, everything on your website is right on brand. It follows your brand identity, the colors, and everything. So thank you for watching, and till the next video.